Magnesium is actually one good or important mineral to actually help with relaxation, muscle cramps, and deal with mood swings. So you can get that from dark chocolate. Replace some of your crisps with nuts and seeds as healthier snacking.
A high protein ice cream brand had tied up with a sanitary pad brand. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am food science and technology trained individual. So ever since I graduated from high school, I have embarked on pursuing a degree in food science and technology in Australia, and then I've always worked in food industry or food related industry. So I started working in a Singapore listed company that does processed food like instant beverages, ready to drink, canned teas, and also like processed seafood, frozen seafood products, candies, confectionery, you name it. They are out there to explore. So I was quite privileged to be the first food technologist, and then so I was able to really put my hands on different things from research and development, creating new product range, helping the company set up their HACCP, has an analysis critical control point, and also train their factory production staff in understanding food safety management systems. Further on, I was also able to work with the different market leads in their regulatory affairs and helping products go beyond Singapore. I was also given that autonomy to actually go and review and qualify suppliers or contract manufacturers for the brand. Yeah, so it was a really enriching journey for me. And after that, I actually moved on to pursuing more experience and grounds in food service. So I actually worked for Yum Restaurants International. So I was in the division of supply quality management. So it's a regional role. So I actually was able to interact with the so-called the franchisees in the Asia regions and work with their quality assurance personnel, train them, help them to qualify their key suppliers, etc., conduct second party audits. And then as I progressed, I wanted to learn more. And I was told that if I pursue my career in the Institute of Higher Learning or academia, I can actually have the chance to actually learn a lot more. So I actually stepped into the academics. So I was a senior lecturer and also senior scientist in Nanyang Polytechnic in Singapore. So that gives me the chance to actually not only con- um, teach the pre-employment learners, but also develop content for adult learners who wants to continue their education training. Also work closely with the small medium enterprises, food businesses in helping them troubleshoot in terms of whether product innovation or product safety. So I've been in the field or in academics for almost 15, 16 years. That's where I thought I would like to try something different again. And that's why I stepped out and started my own consultancy business, doing what I'm really passionate about, really helping and working with the food industry and implementing innovative solutions.
Okay, nice. That's quite the journey. And also it's really interesting because right now food safety is such a big topic everywhere. Like, the number of product recalls that we've started to see has really gone up, I think, in so many parts of the world. And so quality assurance and food safety are, I think, quite important topics as well. But today we're here to talk about women's health. When we kind of exchanged some texts about the summit last week, what you said was that like women's health has become a really important talking point, not just from a women's perspective, but the entire journey of healthy aging as well. And you said that a lot of other speakers also touched upon overall women's health. One of the, like, even within that area, the topic that gets a lot of attention right now is menopause. And even for younger women, there's a lot of cases of PCOS or PCOD growing. But perimenopause is not something that a lot of people are speaking about. So why did you choose to talk about that? What was your interest in that space?
In general, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think in Asia, it is not common for us Asians to really talk about our what we go through, especially if it's related to hormonal changes, and more so for women, that it's either there is this stigma or it's like a taboo to discuss. Yeah, so because even as a kid when you are brought up, we don't really talk much about puberty or changes that happen during puberty with your peers. Parents also don't really educate us in that sense.
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel that it is a subject that is kind of not openly shared, especially in Asia. Yet there is a need, especially as the population ages and we see a trend for aging population across Asia and even actually a global issue. I feel that there is a need to really bring this topic or subject to attention to help and support women as they go through this phase of life.
And for those who may not know, what is the difference between perimenopause and menopause?
When women actually stop menstruating for up to 12 months, she has actually hit menopause. Whereas perimenopause is really the transition phase that signifies the years before this menopause kicked in. Yeah. So it's really the entire, it could range from 2 to 10 years depending on individuals.
So, why do you think people don't talk about perimenopause as much? Is it because they don't recognize that it is like a life stage of women's aging?
Yeah, I think very much that's the reason. Like because maybe it's lack of awareness or um, yeah, that we don't really. They may not even know that they are in that transition, especially where different people experience different things, like different symptoms, and go through different pains. And I mean, I do have friends who went through the entire no menstruation for 12 months and they are really happy because they have not had any symptoms, and so it really varies, and because of such variability during this transition period, maybe many are not aware that hey, this is actually a stage of aging. It is actually a
Right.
phase, yeah, that 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 they women starts to see certain changes.
And what are some of these symptoms? Like, what are some of the most common ones, and maybe some of the more uncommon ones?
I think the common ones we probably also often hear will be definitely irregular periods where there could be longer, shorter, heavier, lighter, or even missed periods. Hot flushes, I think that's a very common one. Night sweats that they will just break out and perspire really heavily throughout the night. And mood swings. Even actually, I've heard some clinicians saying that joint and bone health actually, or rather pains, are actually a common symptom that are experienced by women in Asia. So these are the
Ah,
yeah symptoms that are associated with a perimenopause phase.
the joint pains is a really interesting thing because I mean, women in general are more at risk for osteoporosis and weaker bones and so on. So that is also, I think, somewhere along the lines linked to hormonal changes as well.
Correct, correct. Because of
Yes.
the so-called the decrease or the decline in the hormones production, a lot of these issues or symptoms, osteoporosis becomes maybe more prevalent.
Right. And so, what are some of the solutions that people are, or what are some of the solutions that we use to deal with symptoms of perimenopause? And where does food come in to this?
Yeah, so there are actually, of course, the one of the so-called solutions is actually hormone replacement therapy. I think there are some women who actually chose this because their symptoms could be really drastic and unbearable, and so they actually would choose to go with hormone replacement therapy. But I've done some reading, and uh, apparently a big number, or rather like a big percentage, like it's over 70% of women actually prefer seeking natural solutions. And when we when we look at natural solutions, we will look towards food, functional foods, and all that that will actually provide the necessary nutrients and provide the, yeah, varied supportive diet.
Right. So, what kinds of nutrients and foods fall within this purview?
Okay, so definitely, as we all know, that perimenopause is actually part of aging. So the nutrients, so-called, required to support healthy aging, it's really protein. Okay, protein is one of the cornerstone, okay, nutrient that really help aging population through, because we really need to have protein in terms of muscle mass, so-called maintenance, because we know that muscle mass will actually naturally decline with age. So eating enough protein can actually help maintain lean muscle and support metabolism. So that will include your quality protein such as lean meat, fish, eggs, soy products, legumes, and nuts. They are all excellent sources. And plus, when there's this natural decline in muscle mass, that will increase the risk of like muscle weakness. So that's why it is important that we have enough protein to maintain strength, muscle, or preserve the muscle, and keep our metabolism nice and high, supporting healthy weight and metabolic function.
Right.
So other than protein, of course, it's fiber. The saying goes like fiber keep things moving. So yeah, so digestive issues can be so-called maintained, yeah, or rather prevented when we have sufficient fiber in our diet. High fiber foods like whole grains, vegetables, some of the fruits will keep our stomach happy as well as stabilize the blood sugar levels. So, so in other words, like high fiber foods can actually also help with weight management,
Right.
and definitely it's also benefiting for our gut microbiome because it kind of support the diverse bacterial populations in our stomach, in our gut, which are crucial actually for hormone metabolism.
So, there's another reason to have a good, healthy microbiome.
Yes, yes, yes. So your prebiotics and probiotics will be important part of
Yeah.
that.
So it kind of sounds like basically what we need is a nice balanced diet.
Yes.
Can I ask you about the protein thing? As like you said that we need more protein as we age because naturally muscle mass declines. But
Yes.
as we age, we also have trouble absorbing protein. So how do we balance that out?
Yeah. So you're right. Like, that's why it's important to understand, what how your body kind of respond to the different types of protein. Protein can come from a lot of so-called whole foods, yeah, nutrient-dense options. So if you feel that you are not able to do a lot of meats, or like beef or chicken, there's always the fish option or eggs. So eggs and soy products, nuts are actually excellent sources, and some of aging population, they might respond better in terms of taking these substitutes, or rather
Okay.
alternatives, not substitutes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And these are easy to absorb protein sources as well.
Yeah, or sometimes you just have to enhance it also in terms of some resistance training to help.
Okay.
Yeah, help. Yeah, it's the active lifestyle that will also help bring up the so-called the maintenance of our muscles and all that.
And do all of these also then play a role in things like mood management, hormone balance as well? Or are there
Yes.
separate
Yeah. So
ingredients, nutrients, foods?
So for hormonal balance and mood management, like you will need, of course, other additional nutrients and antioxidants, vitamins and minerals, because these will actually also support and increase energy, like your vitamin Bs, your magnesium, they regulate your mood and sleep quality. Some of the antioxidant-rich foods will be able to combat some of these oxidative stress and inflammation. So include like colorful fruits and vegetables like your berries, oranges, tomatoes, carrots, peppers, leafy greens as part of the diet. So actually they will provide the different vitamins and be able to support vitality and mood. Magnesium is actually one good or important mineral to actually help with relaxation, muscle cramps, and deal with mood swings. So you can get that from dark chocolate,
Yeah.
nuts, and seeds. So you can replace some of your crisps with nuts and seeds as healthier snacking.
There was a really interesting promotion here in India that I saw a few weeks ago. It was essentially a high protein ice cream brand had tied up with a sanitary pad brand to kind of highlight that, well, women often reach out for high fat, high sugar foods during their
Yeah.
period, probably during perimenopause, probably during menopause. And if you're going to snack, may as well make it healthy.
Yes.
So I thought it was a really interesting kind of blending of two very different things that don't often come together. So it's really interesting to see how the functional food aspect of this is kind of transcending categories.
Yeah, so I guess a lot of food manufacturers, yeah, they're trying to position their products while making it friendly or less intimidating for consumers or purchasers. Yeah, that they can, it doesn't have to be an athlete kind of diet to have high protein. Actually, healthy aging requires like, really proteins in our aging process. And like what you just mentioned about fats, yeah, heart healthy fats are also necessary or essential
Right.
for aging. That's your omega-3 fatty acids, etc.
Yes. Yeah. And all of these, I'm guessing, also play a role in managing symptoms better.
That's right. Actually, as I was saying about how we see a higher incidence of maybe joint pain and all that, your calcium and vitamin D will really be, yeah, they will work hand in hand to help proper. Vitamin D will help the absorption of calcium, and so they work hand in hand to make sure that, yeah, that the risk of osteoporosis becomes like less.
Yeah. Actually, I also saw an interesting positioning for collagen products recently, where somebody had positioned their collagen foods specifically for joint health. And I thought that was quite a nice little shift from the skin health marketing that we're so used to. So, is that also something that you're seeing?
Yes, definitely. I Yeah, you're right. There are so many products out there that are fortified with collagen, and I actually have done a bit more research in terms of collagen and collagen peptides. I guess we are exposed to, collagen is good for skin elasticity. Collagen, allows your more. That's actually part of the, because it's a natural produced fibrous protein, so it actually has a major role in maintaining the structural integrity of the body. So it's actually about strength and injury prevention from inside out.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, do you anticipate that we'll see a lot more of collagen based products for healthy aging, not just from a external or cosmetic point of view?
Actually, I think so. I think collagen manufacturers or suppliers are trying to position collagen to be able to provide more than just glowing skin and youthful appearances benefits, and they really want to let consumers understand or aware the beauty of collagen being the most abundant protein in the body and how it can actually play a part in healthy aging.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there any interesting products, actual products that you've seen or from our region?
Or our region, I have actually I've seen like products that are mostly collagen fortified drinks. Yeah, and even brands like Yuan Sang, the herbal, known for their herbal drinks and range of like bird's nest, etc.
Ah, okay. Yes, 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 yes.
So they actually have bird's nest with collagen in them. I think some of the yogurts they also have like added collagen or even like whey protein for muscle health, and you will find that actually a lot of protein fortified yogurts out in the market.
Okay. This is not just like Greek yogurt, but this is
Yeah,
yogurt with additional protein.
correct. And also bars. See, I think some of the so-called nutritional or protein bars, they actually are so-called they actually have added collagen peptides to enhance the protein source. The only challenge is actually the body absorbs best when the collagen is like from marine source, like your fish and all that. And a lot of the collagens are actually from either bovine sources or yeah, pork pig sources. So unless products are open, to have so-called a hybrid, it cannot be a pure vegan or vegetarian kind of
Right,
yeah
right.
offering.
Yeah, that I think that's often a bit of a misconception with collagen. I keep seeing these claims that talk about vegetarian collagen and
No,
vegan collagen, and then they in small print they'll have booster written at the bottom, which everyone kind of glosses over.
yeah. So I mean, so also need to be mindful that
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately or fortunately, the best source is still from animal.
Yes. So amongst all of these product categories that you talked about for functional foods targeted at women to help them with their transition from perimenopause to menopause or into perimenopause, are there any formats that you're seeing that would work well, that would be convenient? I'm not really sure if no, because the bulk of what I see right now are supplements. And I don't know if any of the products, like the products that you were talking about, it isn't specifically targeted at, say, perimenopause. It's just products that have these additional benefits. So
Yes.
maybe, so is there are women taking it more? Is there any kind of indication of that or what women actually want?
That I know. But I think bottom line is if women understand what a functional food or functional ingredients they actually need to help alleviate some of these perimenopause symptoms, they can actually look out for products that are so-called fortified with nutrition or like protein or collagen or even antioxidant omega-3. So I don't think there is a need to highlight that, oh, this is good for perimenopause or whatsoever. As I said, that this is part of aging, and if it helps, they can just look at the so-called concentration of some of these fortified nutrient in the products. So common products that I think where application of all these functional ingredients have been added into really are beverages, juices, smoothies, yogurts, and even snacks. I know in Vietnam they are trying. Maybe they might try to fortify into certain meals like ready meals and all that, or
Okay.
even their broth. Yeah.
The, yeah. That's actually, I mean, if it's something that you're having every day on a regular basis, so I think it has more impact, right, than just
Yes.
having
Yes.
it once in a while.
Yeah.
So it makes
And
sense to do that.
yeah, I'm sure you see a lot of like gummies or jellies that have yeah
Yeah.
collagen fortified or yeah products
Right, right. Um, so, but it is a bit of a chicken and egg situation, isn't it? So you have to have, so people need to know
Yes.
what to have, but how do they know that if they are not educated on what to look for? So
Yeah,
there's a bit of a,
gap.
yeah.
Yes, so that's why I think ingredient suppliers and manufacturers do play an important role in how to bridge this nutrition gap. How do they educate the consumer in terms of what exactly can functional food or ingredient do to address some of these age-related symptoms or ensure that this process is actually less threatening or less intimidating, because the core of healthy aging or the core of this phase of perimenopause, it's about prevention. It's not trying to use finding a cure, but it's about how do we slow down, how do we maybe reduce some of these symptoms.
Yeah, yeah. And you also said, like, you also mentioned how in our region especially there's a lot of stigma about talking about issues that your body is going through. So the need to destigmatize a lot of this is really important. And I mean, what are some of the ways that brands can do this without, like, empowering without, I guess, embarrassing?
Yeah, so I have seen some brands, they actually conduct so-called product and maybe nutrition workshops, or even like short sharing seminars to actually talk about the aging or talk about some of these health issues or age-related issues, and how different nutrition can support, and of course eventually how their product containing that nutrition can help. Yeah, it's about really sharing the science, like what are their evidence to prove that it works, to really provide more of such information for easy access by the consumers so that they can make informed choices and make this purchase decision by really looking for these ingredients or these functional food that they recognize and are supported by scientific data.
Do you see a difference between some of the functional foods that are emerging in Asia for perimenopause management or menopause management versus in the Western space, like in Western countries?
Think so, yeah. And I must say that maybe from Western markets, you probably will be, I mean, where we actually will see a lot of like you said, like collagen or peptide, I mean, collagen peptide or protein kind of enhancement, and even like omega 3. So a lot of times our markets will actually look to what the, Western markets are doing, what kind of research that they have done, what are the evidence for the efficacy of some of these nutrients. And of course, the Asian side, they will have, the traditional Chinese medicine and all that, which probably offers similar nutritional, functional ingredients or active ingredients to support, yeah, this or these age-related symptoms.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to see how this path is diverging or maybe converging in the ingredients that we're seeing. Because if there are ingredients with clinically backed evidence of efficacy, that means that there's going to be a spike in the use of that ingredient. So I think that's something ingredient manufacturers might want to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, that's right. So that, yeah, there will be a spike of it, and then and I think it's also important to understand that yes, that maybe that nutrient or that ingredient on its own has all these different functions, all these benefits, but how much of it is being incorporated into their formulation, and
Right.
will their product still perform similar kind of efficacy? That I think that's the homework that manufacturers will really need to do.
Yeah, yeah. And that calls for a fair amount of trial and error during the formulation process. And so, what do you think is the future going to hold for navigating perimenopause?
I think it's first of all, it's really how brands can step up to educate consumers, share knowledge about, I mean, of course, about healthy aging, about perimenopause, nutrition, and the relevant functional food or functional ingredients that can support this transition, even like how their formulations are science backed, to play a significant role in shaping the future of healthy aging, how they can offer solutions that evolve with changing lifestyles and wellness goals, and not forgetting that it's a holistic approach. You not only have to look at nutrition, that's also your physical activity, sleep, stress management, social connection. So it's about giving the consumers a balanced overview so that they can personalize what suits them and ensure that whatever they do can amplify the benefits of the functional nutrition.
Yeah. Actually, that's a really interesting point. So, how do we personalize in this space? Because, as you mentioned, symptoms can vary from woman to woman, and finding the right solution to address those symptoms also requires a great deal of personalization. So, how do we bring personalization in and personalized nutrition into this? How do we take advantage of that?
Individually, can the woman understand what exactly maybe the main symptoms that she's struggling with, and whether at the same time will the food industry be able to categorize, say that, okay, for joint and bone pain, okay, this is the kind of nutrition that you need, and then all these are the functional ingredients that you need, and then with those who are suffering from hot flushes, and what are the options or alternatives out there for them, so that with that knowledge, with that so-called classification or categorization, they can then look for, okay, yeah, I will need this or I'll need that, and then to alleviate some of these symptoms, or to balance the hormones, or manage the weight, or say my gut health. So it's a so-called wellness journey through really understanding your body and going for nutrition or supplements that will suit your needs. So I guess that's about personalization, about really taking ownership of your health and well-being, and maybe even working with experts like dietitians and nutritionists in supporting the entire nutrition journey.
I do wonder sometimes if there can be a range of products for different symptoms with different ingredients. It doesn't seem like it would be commercially viable. It is an like it may have benefits for people who are having more mood swings. You can pick up one thing. Maybe
Yeah,
who have more, I don't know, cramps can pick up something else.
yeah. So maybe it's really looking for that active ingredients, like
Yeah.
I said, the mood swing, or um, yeah. So maybe they need, or highly stressed, then they might want to look for, yeah, products that contain, say, magnesium. Yeah.
Yes.
And then, or so that, or L-theanine, like green tea, things like that, to help calm their system, and then provide that relaxation.
Right. Yeah. And so, what do you hope to see in the nutrition space for women's health in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think it's really frame perimenopause, or like um, aging as a natural transition. Is about destigmatizing, especially in Asia, that, yeah, I mean, women is so privileged that we go through all kinds of different symptoms or different experiences as we grow up. Menstruation, and then after that, as you age, you have your perimenopause, and then you have menopause, and then you have postmenopause. So it's a journey. So there must be the effort to destigmatize, to really talk about it, because it is not well studied. So I think it's important that, as we talk about it, we collect more data, and then maybe that's where we can, yeah, empower the researchers, empower women to really look at providing so-called solutions for the journey as a long-term view, because it spans all life stages, and to really look at how it's about building this momentum, and it's not just looking for symptoms relief. As we provide more data, of course, hopefully more science-backed claims and more evidence to then help to address how these functional food ingredients can be a part of the lifestyle.
Right. Are there any ingredients that you're really excited about? Functional ingredients or functional foods that you're really excited about that have shown a lot of promise in this space?
Um, Actually, because you brought up collagen, that is something which actually uh, brought to my attention also, because I guess like many, I always think that oh, it's for the glowing skin, etc. But I can see a lot of evidence and a lot of research done on that being really helping in terms of joint and bone health, and that it's actually suitable for healthy aging population, and how it's focusing on strengthening and not just preventing the pain or preventing the symptoms. So I
Right.
think there is space for this collagen peptide to.
Nice. And so, in terms of new product development for women's health products, what kind of advice would you give anyone who wants to develop such products? Because you yourself have worked in this space, like product development. You know the challenges. You understand how what consumers want and the gaps that there are in actually bringing something like that to the market.
Yeah, so actually, like how women actually they actually, I mean, compared to the men, women actually pay more attention to what they consume, and they also are looking for like science-backed evidence, like okay, how does this work, how is this useful, how is this benefiting. So I think it's important that manufacturers, they leverage on science-backed ingredients to really incorporate into their products to deliver the promise, or rather to deliver the benefits of their.
Right.
Yeah, so whether you fortify the snacks or beverage, or it's always important to provide that evidence, and because yeah, a lot, I mean, like I guess woman does most of the purchasing at home or for herself. Yeah, they really want to look at information about the nutritional value, and how it is backed by science to actually shape their healthy aging process.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that at Radesha Summit, a lot of the other speakers also touched upon women's health. And what were some of the insights that they shared that really, I guess, resonated with you, or that really made you sit up and say, "Hey, that's kind of cool."
There were like speakers who actually they look at some of these key nutrients when they look at say gut microbiome and all that. They look at how, I think one of the researcher actually was looking at how different food ingredients can support the microbiome at the different stages in women's health, and that really, yeah, makes me wake up to okay, actually there is that is so closely related that we sometimes don't see that the gut health and all that are actually um, yeah, important in how they regulate our you know hormonal systems, and yeah, it actually has a role to play in our overall functions. So that makes me think that okay, I better watch how I'm nourishing the gut microbiome.
Yeah. So it's really fascinating to see how gut health has grown in the
Yeah.
last 5 years. I think
Mm,
it's had a really big trajectory. But another ingredient, like specifically for women's health, that you mentioned was soy and
mm.
things like soy
So flavor.
isoflavones, and also but sometimes soy also gets a bit of a
Yeah.
bad reputation. So, I mean, is it okay? First of all, a little bit of myth busting or not, or confirming. Is soy an estrogen producing ingredient?
Okay, so the thing is, because it contains these phytoestrogens, they are so called, which actually do regulate the effects of estrogen in the body. Because I mean, some of these, even like your flax seeds and all that, they have they have shown clinical efficacy in supporting estrogen level. So probably that's why, yeah, there is that, uh, the inference.
Yeah. And I guess like another one of those things is that as we age, our estrogen levels also decline, and estrogen
Yes, yes, yes. Our
is,
hormonal, yeah,
yeah,
fluctuations vary, and estrogen, progesterone, some of these hormones actually decline, which is why sometimes it's good to um, consume products that can so-called boost or
yeah,
yeah. And but to be fair, like the progesterones in soy, although they have estrogen-like kind of effects, they are actually not that strong, yeah, as the actual hormones.
yeah, 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 and also because estrogen is, I think estrogen plays a very vital role in other bodily functions. I think
Yes,
I saw a study that talked about how women's rates of heart attacks goes up. I think, like, I may be getting this wrong. Women are at lower risk of heart attack to a certain age, and then their mortality of heart attack increases after that age, and
yes,
it's largely linked to estrogen
yes.
um, levels.
Like, because as we age, all these hormones kind of decline in their production, and then your protection kind of, it's, yeah, less.
Yeah,
Yeah, so which is why we tend to then get a lot of other kind of health issues after we hit certain
yeah,
number.
yeah. It's fascinating how little we actually know, and
Mm.
how much everything is linked to everything else in the
Yes,
body.
yes, yes, yes. I think the body is a very fascinating piece of art.
Yes.
Yeah, and how that will also relate to your cognitive health. Yeah, and a whole range of different.
So, if you had to summarize or pick out the three most important areas to focus on linked directly to women's health, what would they be?
Okay, I must say that definitely like diet and nutrition are important in this the entire transition, perimenopause transition. I think it is important to know that this is part of aging, and a diet rich in whole foods, proteins, especially healthy fats, fiber, and key nutrients like calcium, vitamin D can really help manage some of these symptoms. And know that it's a process, and just going to all these functional food are going to provide more preventive solutions rather than a cure. Make sure that we make it complete with regular exercise and good sleep.
Yeah, and make sure your gut health and joint health are all taken care of as well.
Correct, with the relevant nutrition.
Right. Yeah, thank you. This was a really good chat. I learned a lot. So thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this chance to share
Oh, of
my
course, this
limited
is
knowledge.
great. Please. I think everyone who watches this is going to really benefit from understanding just a little bit more about women's health, but also how we can actually formulate products for women's health, like, and how a lot of our everyday ingredients can play a role in this. I
Yes,
think
yes.
that's also really important to make
Yeah,
sure that people have access to these ingredients,
correct.
and they're affordable.
Yes, yes. A lot of these functional foods are actually readily accessible. Yeah, they don't have. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's just getting your variety.
Yeah, yeah, true. Well, okay. Well, thank you.